Hello everybody and welcome along to the channel once again. First time I have been live since the lockdown. Tried to do a video a day, but all of them going up as pre-records. So hopefully we can have a little bit of fun here and maybe do some Q&A if anybody appears in the stream at any point. Hi to Daniel down there in the chat. We are going to be looking at the top 10 fastest goals in the championship this season. I have been painstakingly through, been doing a lot of list videos. Very tricky at the moment to try and find something useful to talk about with no action, but I've had a good look through, and here comes the top 10 fastest championship goals this season. If we get through the other side, then please hit me in the chat with your questions and we'll hopefully get a little bit of discussion going live. Would be fun. So in number 10, 10th fastest championship goal this season is Jacob Butterfield for Luton at Barnsley. 1 minute 23 seconds. We have to go back to the 24th of August for this one. Rare away win for Luton against their League One nemesis. Barnsley the previous season, not really nemesis, I suppose. They still won it, didn't they? Cornick goes down the right. I think Collins has the first shot. There's two of them arriving, and Butterfield slams in 1 minute 23 seconds. Here's one for you, Leeds boys, in the chat, because number 9 is against Leeds. And it was scored by Semi Ajayi in 1 minute and 15 seconds. West Brom versus Leeds. New Year's Day, top of the table shootout. It was a bit of a damp squib in the end, wasn't it? And what a terrible goal it was. Goodness me. Pereira corner. Costa kind of flicks it up in the air. Casilla, dodgy punch. Ajayi heads it one way. Bartley heads it the other. Ajayi then pokes it goalwards. Doesn't even hit the net. Jack Harrison kicks it away, but of course we have goal line technology, thankfully, and in it goes. 1 minute and 15 seconds. Number 9 is Semi Ajayi. Number 8 is Mr. Jonathan Lecco for Charlton versus Swansea. 2nd of October. Baggage Forever says, I remember we thought it went over the line, then there was a pause, and then madness ensues indeed. 1 minute and 4 seconds for Lecco, scoring in a midweek game, 2nd of October, against Swansea City. First attack for Charlton. Matthews down the right. Poor clearance by Rodden and smashed home by Lecco. However, we're going to get a bit of a theme in this list, that the scorer of the early goals, they're not going to go on and win actually very many of the games. So Lecco is going to be on the losing side. Swansea are going to win this one 2-1, despite taking the lead after only 1 minute and 4 seconds. And Lecco is beaten by 1 second by Mr. Bradley Johnson. What number are we up to now? 10, 9, 8, 7. Number 7 on the list is Bradley Johnson for Blackburn at Bristol City on the 14th of December. It's Amari Bell wins the early corner. It's a really good goal, this. All the big guys go in on the keeper. It's put back on the floor by Holtby and smashed in to the top corner by Bradley Johnson. Brilliant strike here. Blackburn are going to win this one 2-0. 6th win in 8. 1 minute and 3 seconds for that opener. And we go into the rarefied air now, this top 6. And all of these goals inside 1 minute this season. The first one by Corley Woodrow for Barnsley against Brentford, 29th of September. Absolutely hammering it down with rain. We're on Sky TV, and just under 1 minute, like I say, 59 seconds. Woodrow curls it in. Lovely right footer, although dare I say David Raya in goal. Maybe a little bit far off his line and not quite got his positions and his bearings so early in the game. But nice finish nonetheless. You can only spot where the space is, and that's what Woodrow does. Curls it in, but yet again, the early goal's not going to bring the win. Ollie Watkins is going to score a hat-trick in this one, and Brentford are going to win 3-1. Who needs early goals, hey? Here comes another one. 57 seconds. This is number 5, is Andre Ayew, Swansea versus Stoke. Uncanny parallel between Nathan Jones, Stoke going to Swansea pre-international break number 2, and Paul Hurst of Ipswich the previous season, going and getting the win there against all odds to get a bit of a stay of execution. But it doesn't start well, as Ayew scores inside 1 minute. Actually, nearly a very, very, very nice goal, this one. They play out, break the press. Danda gets into the 10 position, but then it's a bit scruffy after that. He hits the shot and Federici spills it. Jones can't buy a break. Butland had been throwing goals in all season. He puts Federici in and he does the same. Pushes it out and Ayew puts it in. 57 seconds. But yet again, the early goal does not mean a win. And Stoke go on and win this one in the 90th minute, in fact. And Nathan Jones gets another couple of games, I think, before he is eventually fired. In we go to the top 4. 52 seconds. This one is for George Saville for Middlesbrough against Charlton Athletic. 7th of December. Borough in one of their many one-goal victories against direct rivals here. Long one into the channel, really. Headed up in the air. Sombalonga gets onto it. His shot, lucky deflection here. You always need a bit of luck with an early goal, don't you? It kind of bobbles in behind. Fletcher arrives with Phillips in goal, pushed out. Saville, no one's watching him. He's made the run in and he strokes it into the game. The only goal of the game, so no doubt the earliest winning goal of the season as well. On we go to the top 3 fastest goals this season in the Championship, and it's Jamie Patterson in 40 seconds now for Bristol City versus Birmingham. 7th of February. One of those, they get Blues on the turn here. Roberts is facing his own goal. Jeju kind of half presses him, but the real press comes from Patterson over Roberts' shoulder, and he hasn't looked. Cardinal Sin, blind back pass. Patterson onto it, round the keeper, and slides it in. Horrible mistake, horrible goal, but yet again, the team that concedes the early goal goes on and wins, god damn it. 3-1 for Birmingham on this occasion, but Patterson opens the scoring with the 3rd fastest goal of the Championship season. Here come the top 2. What am I having for dinner? We'll do that in the Q&A in a minute, Ian. You don't want to know about my eating habits at the moment. Rudd, own goal for Preston versus Blackburn in 30 seconds. This one, 26th of November. Bell down the left again. We've had Blackburn before in this one, and Bell forcing the corner there. Crosses for Gallagher. He makes a mess of the first one, but they're all piled in, they're all hemmed in. Armstrong picks up, he crosses it in, and it's nodded in. Off the post from Gallagher, hits Rudd on the back and goes in on 30 seconds in that one. And do I need to even say it? Yet again, the team that scores the goal does not go on and win the game. Fastest own goal for sure as well. Always think it's a bit harsh when it hits the post and hits the keeper and goes in, but there you go, down as an own goal, that one. And here comes the number 1 fastest goal of the season, was scored by Mr. Bradley Dack for Blackburn at West Brom on the 31st of August in only 28 seconds. It had to be Blackburn, didn't it? And it had to be a team scoring early and losing, because Blackburn are going to go on and lose this game 3-2 to West Brom. It's a horror goal here. Johnston in goal for West Brom's got early possession of the ball. He rolls it out to Ajayi, who kicks it back to him. Johnston then out to Bartley, and Bartley doesn't fancy this at all. Half-arses the pass into Sawyers. Sawyers doesn't come quickly enough. Sawyers very languid and silky at best, but he gets caught on this one by Travis, who just slips it to Dack, and of course they've pressed in, so Dack is onside, spins on it, hits it in right-footed, and 28 seconds makes that the fastest goal scored by any Championship team or player this season. So that is the top 10. What have we learned? We've learned that Blackburn are very strong starters. 3 out of the 10 goals scored by Blackburn. We also learned that only 3 of the teams out of those 10 goals that oh, thank you, Steve. Actually, it was your idea for the video, so I do appreciate you coming and watching. Only 3 of the teams that got the early goals won. 6 losing and only 1 draw in there. So what that does prove is they talk about a game being in a kind of stalemate state. Well, when that early goal goes in, 9 out of 10 of these decisive results, only 1 draw. And it really, that old cliche of keep it tight for the first 5 minutes really does count. A lot of these ones really taking people by surprise. I've got a couple of honourable mentions here. Super LUFC says Pablo Hernandez. Are you thinking of the one against West Brom last season? Robbo says, 16 seconds was that last season? Well, that would be a record this season. Can I get a I was discussing this with my missus actually. Is it Mill with the L or is it just M-I? Daniel says he loves my videos. Thank you. How about the top 10 teams to score a late goal to win a game? Do you know what? That was going to be the next one, Wales SKTF, which I always misread. So yeah, we'll have a look at late goals. I think I already know the answer, but I won't give it away on here because we're in the video. A couple of honourable mentions. In fact, we have got Cardiff fan in here. I could not verify the time of Ashley Fletcher's own goal for Cardiff against Borough. It wasn't on Infogol because it was headed in from a corner as a chance. I know it was within 1 and 2 minutes, so that could be in the top 10, but definitely not the top 6. And an honourable mention for Chris Martin of Derby, who missed out by 1 second. He scored against Birmingham after 1 minute and 24 seconds, so 1 second away. So there we have it. Anybody has any questions, fire them up in the chat and we'll see if we can do anything. I've been a bit loath to come on here live as there's not a lot to talk about. Can I give a shout to Mr. Burgess Maths podcast? There we go. Consider that one done. And if that helps kids or whatever, then doing their maths, I'm sure they're all trying to Skype at the moment anyway. But as I say, I've been loath to go on live because we normally do previews, we normally do reviews. There's been no football. So yeah, if there are any football related questions. There was one earlier, what am I having for dinner? Amazingly at the moment, my fridge and my freezer are more stocked than they have ever been, but still the fear of not being able to get oh god, give a shout out to me. I have coronavirus, says Super LUFC. I think Jaggy asked, do I play FIFA? No, I don't play FIFA. I used to play Football Manager when I was younger and it took up a hell of a lot of my time. Now I make YouTube videos, that takes a hell of a lot out of my time. Dubstep, what do I think will happen to the FFP stuff? Well, the FFP is yet another reason why they have to finish this season. Alex adds, George Saville scored in the first minute of 2 consecutive games. There we go. Oliver says, even if you don't talk about football, good to talk to people at this moment in time. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, the FFP is another reason why we have to keep the season going, because when you talk about the season being written off, what do they do with the parachute payments then? Do you then pay Huddersfield and who else went down? Cardiff, and I can't remember who the other team to go down. Fulham. Do you pay them all the first year parachute payment again? God knows. What it does do is it gives the EFL a longer time. I know we're talking about Sheffield Wednesday and Derby to figure out the charges. So if they are still working on this stuff, the lawyers and people of that nature, then they've got longer to sort it out. But yeah, I think for all of the football administrators at the moment, it's just a case of what the hell are they going to do to finish the season. Daniel says, you're a Leeds fan, you can get through anything. Yes, we do. We do send our love to, I think it was Super LUFC, who's had the virus. Steve says, will they finish the season behind closed doors? Honestly, that's looking like the best option at the moment. I know people will say in the chat, oh God, Jaggy says his mate's dad died and they can't even have a funeral. Absolutely desperate that. Do send my condolences on about that. Super LUFC says he's got the fever is terrible. Oh God, get well soon, my friend. Get well soon. Oh God, questions coming in now. Which one was I on? About Oliver and Dubstep. Put those ones in again because they will disappear. It does seem like the best option is what they were saying: get the players into isolation and play 3-4 games a day in the same stadium behind closed doors. I know it's not ideal, but it strikes me that we're not going to be opening shops and schools and things of that nature for a long time indeed. So maybe the best option. I know people aren't going to like it, but if it's arguably 11 against 11 on a pitch, then that's a fair way of finishing it. Hello to Bassam. Interesting. Get me those other questions in there. There was one about 20 million players. I think there was one about Millwall putting the season tickets forward. There we go. Who do you think will be the next 20 million plus players in the Prem next summer? Let's pull up a league table, shall we, to help me out with that one. I mean, the first one, the obvious one, where's my phone? I can do it on my phone. There we go. Would be Eze for QPR. We'll see if we can pull up a table. 20 million players going to the Premier League. Well, you'd assume Leeds and West Brom will take their players with them. If Fulham don't go up, then Mitrovic is pretty much a given in that regard. If Brentford don't go up, then Benrahma. I don't think Watkins is quite 20 million yet, is he? I think Benrahma is. Forest, maybe they do, maybe they don't. Millwall are asking for next season ticket money. I don't know what to do. Keep hold of it. I'll know. Yeah, I mean, a lot of clubs, they're trying to keep things going. I guess they're asking for a favour from fans, aren't they, for a little bit of a push of money. But I'm sure your season ticket seat will still be valid. Daniel says, I love your Ode to Bielsa song. Yes, go and check out my stupid Marcello Bielsa song. Preston got any £20 million players? Probably a couple of 10 million plus players, but no 20 million players. Millwall, not so sure. Cardiff, not so sure. Blackburn, not so sure. QPR with Eze is one. How much would Bogle raise for Derby? There we go. Definitely those sort of 4 or 5. Eze, Phillips, Pereira, Mitrovic, Benrahma. Those would be the ones I would think about. I think Steve was there asking about different ways of finishing the season. They've got to play the games, haven't they? There's no other way of doing it. Any more questions? Let me know. If there is a Wallace has to be 10 to 15 million, not 20. Yeah, possibly. I think the thing with Wallace is he needs to have another good season to get up to that level. Would the EFL have a problem with how Rooney's wages are paid? No, probably not. All comes through as sponsorship, and 32 Red are paying for most of that. So I think they'll be fine with Rooney's wages. That's ironically, that's probably the one bit of Derby's finances that are sustainable, because they've got a big betting company sorting all of that out. Lots of things about Phillips there. We're assuming the only way Phillips gets out of Leeds is if Leeds don't go up, which doesn't look like it'll be the case. But you don't know. You don't know how long this will go on for, do you? Let me know if there's any appetite for more Q&As, and I will do a couple. Very difficult for us football-y, YouTube-y people to kind of figure out what to talk about and what to say. Have Stoke turned the corner? Says Ryan. Yes, they most definitely have, haven't they? I was having a look on one of my other videos. 10 wins for Michael O'Neill now, so you'd think Stoke and Huddersfield are both winning enough games. Just had those abject, awful starts. But actually, if you look at the form over the, I don't know, I'd have to do the numbers, say 20, 25 games, they'd probably be mid-table, both of those teams, and you'd be more looking at Charlton and Hull down there in the bottom 3. What am I watching with no sport? I am watching Hell's Kitchen with my missus a hell of a lot. There's 15 seasons of that on Amazon Prime. I'm watching Curb Your Enthusiasm as well for my comedy fix, and lots of movies as well. I watched the Dustin Hoffman movie from 1982 yesterday called Tootsie, which was fun. Watched the Elton John movie the other day, which, being a piano player, was fun. Alex says, do I use a separate conditioner or a 2-in-1? I use a separate conditioner, as you can probably tell. I watched the Minsk derby. There we go. How about totting up points for teams currently in the Championship? Someone has got that information. It's Stats Bomb or something, that website. I think Derby County are number 1 on the points. Oliver says, how long can the country last with no jobs, all the money going? Not very long, I think. I suspect a couple of months at most, and then things are going to need to be happen. Ryan says, you look like I did when I was a biker. I'm sorry, there is no biker with as nice curls and volume type hair as me. Why do I always end up talking about my hair on these chats? It's all straight, isn't it? And ponytails for bikers because they've got to put it under a motorcycle helmet the whole time. So no, Ryan, I'm not having that. There's no biker with as lovely hair as me. Is that Bassam saying my hair looks very pretty? There we go. Beautiful flowing locks. I switched to a separate. Oh dear. I always have a pop at people when they talk about my hair on Twitter and stuff. I say we're talking about football. Which footballer would you eat when the apocalypse starts? Well, it'd be Akin Fenwell, wouldn't it? He'd probably do you about, I don't know, 3 weeks worth of meals with his vast size, you would think. But let's hope it doesn't come to that. I'm sure the vegetarians are all suffering. I tell you what is amusing at the moment as well is I'm subscribed to this Gusto thing where you get your meals sent to you every week now at Tuesday at 12 midday. Everyone who's subscribed to Gusto goes on the app and the whole thing crashes and you can't book your meals. So literally the Hunger Games. But there we go. Hopefully we'll have some football-y stuff to talk about very soon. I will say thank you to everybody for tuning in and asking questions in the chat, etc. etc. Hopefully, if you tuned in just for the top 10 at the start, you may well have stayed on to the end. When you hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, follow me on Twitter at Benjamin Bloom, Instagram Benjamin Bloom, support me monetarily on patreon.com/Benjamin Bloom. But as I say, every time I do that plug, keep hold of your money at the moment and only spend it if you really, really need to. Who is going up to the championship, do I think? Oh, crikey. Alex says you get your meals sent to you, you've changed. There we go. Up from League One, I do like the look of Oxford, I have to say. Who else? Rotherham still top. Coventry look really good as well. They're the two kind of best footballing sides, but Rotherham have been there, done it. I'm sure someone will ask about my team Ipswich. No, it's not going to be them. They're way off the pace at the moment. But you never know what's going to happen when everything comes back. Sometimes even an international break and teams' form completely change. Alex asks, what do I drive? A VW Passat, which I'll be paying for about another 3 years, I think. How much money football pays in tax and how much the government is losing? That is a fair point. Who's going to win the World Cup if they have a World Cup? Imagine if Aldershot make it to the Premier League. We really are living in a parallel universe now. Right, on that wonderful note, I will bid you all, watching from Barbados. Great stuff, Patrick, there. Ryan says everyone's form will drop. And Ryan's probably right. If everyone's form does drop, then we just get equilibrium, don't we? Because they'll all drop together, except Leeds, whose players will probably be even less body fat and running 100 times more than everybody else as they do. Anyway, right, I'm going to say bye-bye to everyone. Maybe we'll come on and I'll try and advertise it better and we'll get some questions in advance as well. Come on and do another Q&A later in the week. Maybe I'll come up with another stupid football song. Stay safe, everybody. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to go and walk the dog in a minute. The same old route. Just trying not to get too fat, really, at the moment. But there we go. Thank you, everybody, for being so good-humoured in the chat. Lovely to speak to you all, and it has whetted my appetite for coming on live again. So I'll try and do the scripted stuff and then go into Q&As again. Moving forward, thank you everybody for watching. Oh, here we go. Cole, one player from another championship team that would improve your team. What, my team personally? Well, they're in League One, so most championship players. I guess the one player that most championship teams would take, because it's a given, is Mitrovic, isn't it? Where whatever style you play, however you do it, he's going to be useful and he's going to bash in a load of goals. Oliver says, don't forget 2 minutes. You used to see my budgeons down the road. They've got it all marked out on the floor and they give you a very funny look when you go in. But I was one of the few people who had lots of hand sanitizer, which I bought ages ago, actually. Daniel says, is my team Ipswich? Yeah, my team is Ipswich for my sins. And if you want some really good content, check out the Blue Monday podcast, which I am a creator of, and our wonderful playoff campaign has been reviewed today. So do go and check that out. It used to go down my feed before, but we don't put it down here anymore. Right, gonna go waffling now. Thank you all for joining in. I'll advertise these in advance so we can all join in, and I'll see you all very soon. Over and out.